Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still massively playing out the short-term bullish divergence as my Bitcoin long position is continuing to explode further into profits. So in just a moment, I'll be talking about exactly how I plan to make a lot of quick and easy profits from the next Bitcoin move about to happen very soon, while the price of Bitcoin is now running into a very crucial level on the price chart that we need to pay attention to, while Ethereum is just now officially breaking out above this crucial area on the price chart, while the price of XRP is now further bouncing from this significant area of support. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence, technically still active, so it's still something to pay attention to on the weekly time frame. And of course, on the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, we are getting quite close towards a potential bullish crossover, but we're still not really seeing a significant amount of momentum to either direction. So not overly bullish or overly bearish, at least for now, when it comes to the larger momentum in the market. Obviously, right now, we're actually looking somewhat neutral if we're talking about the larger momentum, not just the short-term moves. But if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, right now, as I've recorded this video, the price of Bitcoin is now testing a crucial level on the price chart, at least in the short term, sitting at just above 117,000. So really in between around 117,000 to 118,000. That is a crucial area of resistance to pay attention to, where previously we've seen multiple important rejections, significant rejections from this level at roughly 117,000 and just above 117,000. And so ideally, in order to actually confirm a breakout here, I'd like to see at least a daily candle close, ideally above 118,000, to be confident that we're finally confirming a breakout above this level, above this resistance here. And of course, we'll need to hold above that level for the breakout to remain valid. Because as always, if we break out above a certain point of resistance and then break back below that point with candle closes back to the downside, that simply invalidates the breakout. So we need to confirm a breakout with candle closes above, ideally 118,000, hold above that level, and then in that situation, the next short-term price target will be at roughly 120,000, could likely act as some strong resistance at roughly 120,000, and if we break out above those highs right there at 120k, honestly, the next target is simply the all-time high at close to 124,000, give or take. And honestly, if we actually confirm a strong breakout above ideally 118,000, confirming an obvious higher high in the price, that would also confirm basically a W pattern or a double bottom pattern here, which is a bullish price pattern. And if we're actually taking a look at a bullish price target for a possible breakout here, that will set up a price target in new all-time highs at approximately 127,000 to 128,000. And so if we're actually measuring that move from this potential point of the breakout here towards that price target, that's around over an 8% move towards the upside, and that's with no leverage. So for example, with just a 10x leverage long position, that's around an 80% profit in that example, not financial advice. But honestly, all-time highs for Bitcoin are not far off. If we're looking at the US stock market, that's pretty much hitting new all-time highs each day. So it's actually quite likely Bitcoin very soon could be heading towards all-time highs. Just be prepared for that. Once again, really the final major obstacle is this one that we're running into right now at around 117,000 to 118,000. If we clear this level right here with confirmation, there's a very high chance, as always, not guaranteed, but a very high chance we'll head towards all-time highs. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term again, taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that right now, obviously, the price is continuing to play out effectively not just a bullish divergence, but also a short squeeze, which I've already been talking about over the last half a week or so. First of all, for around a week, since all the way back down here, I've been talking about the bullish divergence and to expect some bullish price action moving forward. And then of course we started to play out at least some bullish price action, and then that ultimately started to trigger a short squeeze, which basically accelerated the bullish price action. And so right now, overall, we're still very much bullish if we're talking about this short-term move here. Now, it is worth pointing out that we are once again sitting in overbought in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which means maybe sometime soon over the next 1 day or so, 1 or 2 days is a very likely scenario, we could likely see a slight little cool off, not necessarily the end of this bullish move. For example, we hit overbought a couple of days ago right here. We did see a slight little cool off, a slight little pullback that lasted for not even a day before ultimately we continued the bullish move later on. And so I'm just simply pointing that out right now. And of course, over the last one day, alongside higher highs in the price, we've also now formed higher highs in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which means there's no bearish divergence even forming, let alone actually confirming here. And so obviously that's good news for Bitcoin, aside from the fact that we are overbought, meaning we could likely see a bit of a cool off, maybe a sideways consolidation or slight pullback. But once again, overall, we're still very much bullish. Technically, that short squeeze could continue to play out due to some reasons I'll talk about in just a moment. But also, once again, consider that we are running into resistance and hit overbought. So just keep that in mind. It's possible could see a slight cool off here. But one of the reasons as to why we could ultimately continue a bullish move later on, maybe after a first little bit of a cool off here, is of course due to the fact that we still have significant liquidity building above the price of Bitcoin at around 118,000 to 119,500. Basically in that entire area around there, give or take 119,000, we have a lot of liquidity building for the price of Bitcoin in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. And in case you're new to all of this, usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to be drawn towards where we have a lot of liquidity to essentially wipe out that liquidity. So in other words, if the price hits around 119k, 120k, that would wipe out, liquidate a bunch of short positions, which can actually help push the price a little higher. And not only do we have that potential bullish catalyst here, drawing the price towards this upside area of liquidity, we also have to remember that we're now entering into October, which historically speaking, looking at Bitcoin's past performance, historically speaking, October is pretty much hands down the most bullish month for Bitcoin. And now obviously past performance does not guarantee future returns, so keep that in mind. But with that being said, it is worth noting the seasonality of Bitcoin because trends do appear to show up. Like for example, September historically is either a relatively neutral, if not bearish month for Bitcoin, especially in between around 2016 to 2022. It was pretty much only red in those years. But if we're taking a look at October, other than just 2014 and 2018, if we're looking at all of these years dating all the way back to 2013, every single year besides just those 2 years was green when we're talking about October, the performance for the Bitcoin price during October from start to finish. And in fact, one of those red months was only around a 3 or 4% move down during October, and the other one was only about a 12 to 13% down. So that was actually the worst October that we've seen since 2013. So obviously October, historically one of the most bullish months, which is potentially helping to push the price higher as a lot of traders are realizing that we're now heading into October and potentially looking to buy Bitcoin right now in anticipation of the price heading further towards the upside throughout the month. And so due to all of these different reasons, of course, I'm still long on the price of Bitcoin, as I've been talking about every day since pretty much these exact lows down here at roughly 110,000. I shared here on the channel that I'm entering a long position and get ready for a lot of bullish price action coming soon. That's what I've been talking about since 110,000 onwards, and the proof is right here. The numbers do not lie. Once again, still in my long position. You can see my entry price for yourself, 110k. And once again, I shared this trade right here on this channel the moment I opened the trade. And even if you missed the entry right here and you entered maybe a few hours later or even an entire day later, obviously right now you'll still be massively up on that trade right here. And on top of that, if we clear this high right here, as I said earlier in the video, if we actually confirm a strong breakout, ideally above 118,000, that will significantly increase the probability that we'll head towards all-time record highs for Bitcoin, which means if you did not enter down here, that's potentially another entry opportunity for a long position as we head towards all-time highs, not financial advice. And so we can see here that my Bitcoin long position really over the last one day has not changed, other than the fact that unrealized profits have obviously increased, but the position size and the stop loss not changed over the last one day. Stop loss still sitting at the same level, in profits above my entry, and potentially very soon I will start to move this further into profits as the trade obviously moves further into profits here. And then also, if the price continues to struggle a little bit more around this resistance, I may look to take a small amount of profits soon out of the trade, not closing the entire trade. I want to make that clear, but if I do take any profits, I'll just slightly reduce the size of the trade, but still overall remain long, considering right now now, we still have a lot of bullish catalysts playing out for Bitcoin. And so currently the realized profits are still roughly 2,600 USD and unrealized profits now about 6,500 USD. So overall, over 9,000 USD in profits in only about 3 days. So just quick and easy profits here to be made in Bitcoin. And if you want to take trades just like this for yourself to make a lot of quick and easy profits in the market, like what I'm doing right now and share here on the channel, of course, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on BTNX. So I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim massive trading and deposit bonuses. For example, you can claim up to 120,000 USDT out of a prize pool here for trading bonuses, and also massive bonuses here for deposits. For example, if you deposit as little as $100, you get a $20 bonus, a 20% deposit bonus. And also if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus from BTNX into your BTNX account, basically free money from the exchange just by simply making an account using that link and depositing and starting to trade. But unfortunately, if you don't use the link below this video, you cannot claim any of these bonuses here. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check it out. Once again, first link below this video to get set up ready to go for the very next trading opportunity, which could potentially be about to happen very soon as we're getting close to breaking out above this high. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, there's also 2bit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can also claim massive trading and deposit bonuses. For example, you can claim up to 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses and 8,000 USDT in withdrawable stablecoins just simply by depositing and trading crypto using that link. And on top of that, without making any deposit or any trade, just by making an account using the link below this video, it takes about 60 seconds to do this, and you can claim a free 30 USDT trial fund bonus on your account and 1 month free VIP3 upgrades. So basically very cheap trading fees over on 2bit, but once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check it out. Second link below this video to 2bit. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the 3-day time frame, and despite the very slight little pullback over the last 1 day in the Bitcoin dominance, overall, this bullish divergence is technically still active, which means overall expect a little bit more of a relief from all of the bearish price action in the Bitcoin dominance, at least in the coming days, maybe even over the next 1 or 2 weeks. But at least in the next few days or so, expect a little bit more of a relief here. Not necessarily a massive bullish move, but just a slight little bullish relief like this as a very likely scenario for the Bitcoin dominance. And so that basically means on most days over the next few days, over the next 1 week, that sort of time frame, expect a lot of altcoins to slightly underperform Bitcoin or perform similar to Bitcoin. So not necessarily having a major altcoin season really anytime in the next few days or in the next 1 week, but also not really seeing massive crashes in the altcoin market. Of course, if Bitcoin also is playing out a major bullish move, expect bullish price action for altcoins. But if the Bitcoin dominance is also playing out this slight bullish relief, a lot of altcoins, like I said, will likely just slightly underperform Bitcoin. So still perhaps playing out bullish price action, but maybe not as much as what Bitcoin is doing. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now Ethereum is continuing to bounce from my exact area of support, sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. So continue to expect significant support in that area, a lot of demand for Ethereum in that area. And as for a significant resistance to watch out for, basically pay attention to around 4.8k to 4.9k. But if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at that 8-hour time frame, just a matter of hours ago, we officially confirmed an 8-hour candle close above this short-term area of resistance here, which previously has been at significant support in the short term for the price of ETH, and more recently over the last few days has been important resistance for the price. So obviously now that we've confirmed a candle close above this level, and for as long as we're now holding above this area, of course this is bullish price structure pointing towards a continued bullish move as a very likely scenario. And the next price target is this area in between around 44.70 to 4.5k as the next potential point of resistance to watch out for. And so in other words, it is quite likely, especially if Bitcoin continues a breakout here above these highs, it's quite likely Ethereum will continue a bullish move at least another $150 to $200 higher as a very likely scenario, especially if Bitcoin continues that bullish move. And as for short-term support, pay attention to this area that we just broke out back above, which will likely now act as new support, sitting in between around 4250 to 4280. And back below that area, we also have a lot of support in this area in between around 4060 to 4.1k. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, obviously right now we're technically still within longer term bullish price structure, a larger bullish trend forming higher lows and higher highs on the 2-day Solana price chart. So once again, this is potentially just a short-term pullback like what we've seen in the past during a much larger bullish trend, especially due to the fact that we did bounce and hold this significant area of support here, sitting in between around 190 to 200. And not only are we continuing a bounce from that exact area of support that I've been saying since before the bounce, of course, we're now starting to break out above this potential point of resistance here, which was sitting at around $215 to $216. And so now that the price is attempting a breakout above this level, and especially if we confirm candle closes above around 216 and hold above that level, in that situation, ultimately the next price target now, the next major point of resistance to watch out for, is sitting at around $230, and above 230, I'll be focusing on around 250 to 260 as another area of resistance. And if we're zooming into the somewhat shorter term here on the 8-hour Solana price chart, obviously previously we had this bearish divergence which perfectly played out as we saw right here, but right now this bearish divergence is now effectively invalidated. We've now seen not just a slight little bounce in the price and the RSI, but a clear reversal, especially in the RSI, now forming higher lows and higher highs here on the 8-hour time frame, and also breaking out above this descending line of resistance. And so ultimately this bearish divergence is clearly no longer playing out anymore. And of course, already since this exact slowdown here, I've been saying expect a bounce as a very likely scenario in the coming days, due to the fact that we hit extremely oversold in the RSI. So a very normal reaction from extreme oversold is some sort of bounce or bullish relief. And so right now, considering this short-term bullish relief is of course gathering strength as shown here in the RSI with this short-term bullish trend in the RSI, of course this means that this will likely continue moving forward, a bit more of a short-term bullish trend or bullish relief as a very likely scenario, especially if Bitcoin continues the same. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, technically we still have that major bearish divergence to watch out for that I warned about months ago now, since back in July around $3.40. I warned about that massive bearish divergence, and I said back then expect it to play out over the next couple of months, which did ultimately play out as predicted months ago. But if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, right now we're continuing to hold above this crucial area of support here, sitting in between around $2.70 to $2.80. And so obviously this is great news that the price is continuing to hold and bounce from this area. So ultimately the next resistance to watch out for, first of all, we're running into a potential point of resistance right here as of recording this video at roughly $2.93 to $2.94. But if we continue higher, expect the next short-term resistance at pretty much exactly $3. And then if we break out above those levels right there, the next significant area of resistance to watch out for, where we've previously seen multiple rejections from, is this area in between $3.10 to $3.15. And then if the price can eventually break out above that area with confirmation, the next significant area of resistance is in between around $3.30 to $3.35. And remember, as I always say, pay attention to what the price of Bitcoin and also the Bitcoin dominance are doing to figure out what is likely going to happen for XRP and really a lot of the major altcoins out there. And so in other words, if Bitcoin continues this bullish move, which is quite likely, especially if we confirm that breakout above 118,000, that will significantly increase the probability of heading towards all-time highs, as I said earlier in the video. If that ultimately continues for Bitcoin, expect more bullish price action for a lot of the altcoins, XRP included. But once again, if the Bitcoin dominance is also continuing a bullish relief while the price of Bitcoin is bullish, yes, we could still see bullish price action for altcoins, but a lot of the altcoins out there will likely be slightly underperforming Bitcoin. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, right now as of recording this video, Chainlink is attempting a breakout above a very crucial level on the price chart, which is this level right here, just above $22, really in between around $22 towards around $22.30. Previously, that was important support. That was was also a Fibonacci level here and was acting as a bit of short-term resistance over the last few days. But right now, as of recording the video, once again, we're now potentially breaking out above this area, which still technically needs to be confirmed, with ideally a daily candle close above that area and actually holding above that area. And so if we see those confirmation signals confirming the bullish breakout here, in that situation, obviously that would be very bullish in the short term for the price of Chainlink, and quite honestly would see a bullish move at least up towards around $23.90, $24, but quite possibly up towards just above $25 as a significant point of resistance at around $25.20 to $25.40, give or take. And remember, as I've been saying throughout the video and many videos recently here on the channel, if Bitcoin continues a bullish move, which it has been doing over the last few days, over the last half a week, expect that to really influence a lot of the altcoin market here, playing out some bullish moves as well, at least for now. And so that is simply the current situation in the short term for the crypto market and what to expect moving forward and the key levels to watch out for. And of course, my exact trading strategy. And remember, if you want to take trades just like this for yourself, you have to be set up ready to go using the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can take trades just like this for yourself to make a lot of easy and quick profits in the market, like what I'm actually doing right here on the channel with my own money, then of course watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.